Yes.
Okay. Good morning.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to look at the camera for a second. We don't know how to formally start this, but we're going to address the elephant in the room. We're on video.
Woohoo, we're real people. We're not AI generated voices.
Authentic, human-made podcast shenanigans. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 1 of Let's Circle Back. This year we're trying something new because Hebe got a DJI camera, so we're launching our video podcast. Welcome. Please bear with us as we figure out what we're doing because it's a little awkward and a little different from just audio only.
Yeah, but if you want to see a better format, maybe consider donating to us so we can rent a studio and be in person. Just kidding, you don't need to do that. But before we jump in, as per usual, this is a reminder that our podcast is not corporate affiliated and that all opinions are our own. Do we want to give a quick summary of what today's topic is going to be about?
Yeah, we're going to be talking about 2026 because although we are nearing the end of January at time of recording, it is still the new year and it's the first episode of the year, which means it's a valid time to talk about what we think is in, out, and some predictions. I feel like we did the same thing last year throughout the year with the podcast. We did call a few trends that happened, la boo boo. So I think this is a valuable... Exactly. We're making valuable contributions to society right now.
For real. Okay, I guess we start with what's in. This is a really awkward transition, but let's just go for it.
We'll get better as we do more.
For sure. And up first is long form content. As you can see, we're trying to put this podcast on YouTube. And I think as a whole, in the past couple years, there's like a lot of, preference for short form content. As you can see with the rise of TikTok, of Instagram Reels, I feel like no one really watches YouTube videos anymore. But we do feel like in this year, we're going to see maybe a comeback of longer form video content and podcasts.
Yeah. There still is a time, I would say, where everyone is kind of like, you need to post 15 TikToks a day and then you'll be a full-time content creator. But because most of this content that we're seeing is go to my Amazon affiliate link, my storefront, my like to know, my bio, like buy my stuff, people are developing influencer fatigue. I've seen it. I saw it a lot over the holidays with people who are like, it's so cool that you just spent $20,000 on clothes. I can't afford rent this month. So I think we're going to see a shift towards more authentic, long-form, slow-paced content that allows us to really connect with people we're watching instead of just sell stuff.
I think a lot of influencers are also starting to push out long form content. Right before the recording of this podcast, maybe like yesterday, I was scrolling through Instagram for just marketing news as a very dedicated corporate marketer. And it seems that Alex Earl, who I don't know exactly what she does, to be honest.
She's just an influencer.
Period. But I believe she is coming onto the YouTube platform with a new video series. So in my head, it's like, are we back? Are we back to the golden ages of content?
I also saw this week, I don't know when it started, and unfortunately, I'm not a Kai Cenat stan, so I don't really know what his primary content is, but I know him from Twitch or like from streaming. I saw that he's been posting YouTube videos documenting his self-improvement journey, like reading more books to improve his vocabulary, going to the gym and learning about nutrition for his health. And as someone who got famous for playing games on stream, at least that's what I think it was, I was really impressed by the fact that he's taking the time to not just pivot his content, but also promote a healthier lifestyle. And it takes a lot of vulnerability to post that type of stuff online. Like I saw a clip that went pretty viral of him reading a book aloud, and he had to search up the word spontaneity, but he still posted it. And I thought that was really motivational because he probably has a lot of young viewers who are, growing up in the age of social media, AI slop, everything is kind of handed to you instead of having to do critical thinking. So, even though he'll never know me, I'm proud of him for posting that content because I think hopefully it's a sign of a good trend to come this year, which is more authenticity online, vulnerability, slower paced content that's focused on real like human work instead of just buy my product.
Yeah, and on the topic of just general connectivity that you get through influencers, I recently learned a new category of influencers. So we all know about the macros and the micros and sometimes the nanos. Apparently, Pico influencer is a thing now, and it's people who only have 0 to 1,000 in following. And I'm just thinking, is this a sign that, again, one, the current influencer marketing strategy or just influencer content is just not resonating with people? When you look at these bigger influencers, you're just seeing them through the lens of they're trying to sell me product, but I truly don't know anything about you, whether or not you have like side hustles, side hobbies. What is your social life like? What do you like to do? It's all coming back.
I know this is a tangent, but I do wonder what you can do with a Pico influencer because if they keep creating content, there's a point where they are going to gain a following probably. So what? Just, yeah, I guess what?
It's a cycle of life.
How do you leverage that from a marketing POV or take advantage of that? I don't know. We're not going to talk about that this episode, but I'm really curious. Also, by that definition, let's circle back. It's technically a Pico influencer. So
Yeah, we're Pico influencers.
brands,
Pico podcasters.
you know what to do. Send us the check, guys. We can have product placement now that we're on video. So
Exactly. Look, I have Labubus right here. Pop Mart, you missed an opportunity.
yeah, we'll
I'm just
tag them when
saying.
we post this. Okay, moving on to the next thing that we think will be in this year. This is no surprise to anyone. Analog or offline hobbies. Hebe has some, I have some. It's in my New Year's resolution to find new like offline hobbies, specifically hobbies that I don't want to document actually because I find myself posting about things that I'm doing all the time. But I think we're going to see a lot more people put their phones and screens down this year for not just for any particular reason, but with good intention to like take a break.
Yeah. Do we want to share what our analog hobbies are?
Oh, sure. Do you want to
We
go
love
first?
oversharing. Yeah, sure. So, one is reading, and I've been getting back into physical books instead of ebooks, although ebooks are a lot more convenient to carry around. And you can borrow them from your local library. Libby, eat it up.
Yes, girl.
But I do feel like whenever I do read ebooks, it's like a slippery slope. I then see a notification and I tap on it and then the reading's gone. So reading analog for me. And then I started like a cookbook project, not going to go into detail about it, but instead of logging it online, I decided to pick up like a small notebook from Muji and I'm just gonna write down like my progress, what I found in terms of recipes. So that's my attempt on becoming less online.
Yeah, I also have been really into reading. I think last year I kind of fell in love with it again, and I'm so excited to keep reading this year. But I haven't found my second analog hobby yet.
Let me know if this is a hot take now that we're on the conversation of being online versus offline. Is it uncool to be chronically online now? As in, do you think it's looked down upon when you're too well versed in slangs? For example, I feel like 2025 was a big year for just random TikTok audios that people quote all the time. 6'7",
6'7".
Justin Bieber standing on business. What the
Clocks.
helly? Clock it, clock it. So do we anticipate that in 2026 that's less of a case?
That's such a good question. On the one hand, I love silly online trends and slang. Like, I loved standing on clocks clocking the stand. Like, that was one of the highlights of my social media year. But I think we talked about this earlier this week. Even I'm getting tired of how influencers talk. And this kind of could relate to the first point, but I think maybe people are craving more intellectual content or things where people are able to express themselves eloquently instead of just, the same like tap, 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 and it's giving. Like, what is it giving? Please tell me more. I don't know. I feel like as marketers, from that POV, we have to be well versed in online slang and what's going on. But if it suddenly becomes uncool to be well versed in online slang, is it then an advantage to be more chronically offline? We're getting
But then
philosophical
how do
here.
you show that you're chronically offline? I
Exactly,
think you
because
brought this up.
if you didn't document it, did it even happen?
Do you even exist? How do you prove that you're real?
How do you prove that you're offline without being online?
Exactly.
Questions. We're getting real philosophical here, guys. Socrates would be a guest on this podcast a million years ago.
Exactly, star of the show, our guest, our feature. But he is possible if we leverage AI.
No. Shut down. I would not ever. Please. Oh my God.
And that is a segue into the next big topic of what is in for 2026. Less AI and more human made.
I can take the first part of this one. Something I've been thinking about is how, with AI taking over so much and growing so quickly in terms of capabilities, I think the label human made is going to start being slapped on things that are genuinely human made. I'd love to see what type of regulation or like legal guidelines for labeling your products or your content is going to be in the near future, but I think when we reach a point that AI is helping to create packaging and formulas for things, just like how we have non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free labels on food, we're going to start getting human-made or non-AI in certain consumable products in music, books, art. I think it's inevitable at this point, and I think people are going to start craving real things. It doesn't have to be perfect, but if it looks like an actual person made it instead of a machine or an algorithm, I think it's going to draw an audience.
Should I file the first FTC false advertisement lawsuit against some company who used AI but didn't put AI made on their products?
You're laughing, but I genuinely think that's going to be a thing soon.
I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be the first one to
Get
do
ahead
it.
of it. Yeah.
And recently, probably like a week or two ago, maybe 3, the Instagram CEO, I believe his name is Adam Mosseri, he posted a long carousel, almost an essay on, I guess, the challenges that Instagram is currently facing because they're not keeping up with this AI revolution that everyone is tooting their horns on. And that is in an age where AI is getting better and better at pumping out more content, but content that also mimics human made. How do we distinguish something that's artificially created versus authentic? And his argument is also that then human made content will become more and more valuable in a sea of AI slop. But not gonna lie, he is probably part of the problem. If you think about it, Instagram leverages AI algorithms, and you no longer, I don't know if it's just me, on your feed, you no longer see people you follow.
Yeah.
I have not seen, Valentina, your post, to be honest. I only know it through your story.
I miss the chronological post order so much. And I know it's been so long since that was last a thing, but I feel like we have to go back to it because I get sponsored posts, I get suggested posts. That's what I go for my I can only see that in my explore page. Like I don't need that in my feed where I'm supposed to see people that I follow.
And he also observed that on Instagram, it seems that DMs is where people are now, sending each other DMs. The conversation is
Yeah.
happening in the DMs privately. instead of on the For You page, which is supposedly for you.
Yeah. I feel like maybe also a lot of people, including myself, really take advantage of stories. Because stories show up not necessarily chronologically, but also based on how often you view someone's story. If I want to reach people with something, I'm probably not posting it on my feed. I feel like I post on my feed more for myself. And then when I want to actually connect with people, I'm on my stories. And like you said, in the DMs, sending stuff.
Yeah. And that also raises the question of privacy. Look at the segue that I'm making. The transition is
Amazing.
flawless, seamlessness. Not only do we now care about who get to you, but also what you see. I think Instagram, I haven't had the feature on my phone, so I'm like, is this even real? But a lot of people in my workplace, because we all work in social media marketing, have noticed that in the Reels tab, you get to start filter keywords of content you want or don't want to see. So I feel like that is also, I guess, a defense mechanism humanity has against this proliferation of information boom. Question mark. I also have a couple friends who started putting their phone as a whole on do not disturb during the daytime and really leveraging like the customization function of like the different modes you can have, so only certain contacts, certain apps can actually deliver new messages immediately.
I feel like for that to work, you have to have a level of discipline, anyways, to not check your notifications. But I strive to reach that point because I would love to care less about whether something is popping up on my screen or not. But to that point, I think something that I'm seeing a lot of people talk about on, like, okay, I don't like New Year, New Me discourse, but as part of the New Year, New Me discourse, everyone's like, disappear. Like, don't let them know what you're doing. Keep your goals close to your chest. I think we're seeing a really big moving in silence movement. People being ambitious, but not flaunting it or not overtly or explicitly sharing it with people because, I mean, I don't know. A lot of people believe in the evil eye. I'm one of those superstitious people. Like, don't want people sending bad vibes my way, but I think there's a lot of being more private, being more particular about what you choose to share with the world, especially people with public accounts. I think a lot of people are moving back towards like not oversharing relationships.
For sure. I think a lesson from that is, I don't know if you saw recently, but this really popular Instagram TikTok couple, Desmond and Christy Scott, had a huge fallout this year. Have you ever seen this woman who tries on heels and does like crazy backflip stuff and her husband is sitting in the
No.
back like laughing? Okay. Well, they're really big content creators and he allegedly cheated on her and the whole internet knew. The whole internet knew.
That's why you don't overshare your business online.
Exactly.
I can't. Okay, couples that break up over Instagram also, I don't know if you've seen those things where they'll be like breaking up over their stories and they're influencers who are famous for being couples. That's another thing. We are not going to go on that tangent. But it's like, let's not do that anymore. It's a year for not airing out your dirty laundry.
Okay, that was a huge. I feel like the theme of the previous couple bullets is all about like AI media consumption. Now we're moving on to something a little different. Do you want to start
Yeah.
it?
Sure. I mean, I was going to say, speaking of dirty laundry, your laundry does get dirty when you do sports.
The woman was too stunned to
That's our
speak.
next point. This is for what we think is going to be in this year sports as a whole. But what I was thinking about this, I'm talking people going to live events, people wearing sports uniforms or athletic attire as clothing, seeing more athletes as models. That has been a trend for the past couple years, but I think it's really going to skyrocket or solidify this year.
Missed opportunity to mention heated rivalry and the clout they brought
That's
to
what
the
I was
NHL.
thinking about.
Exactly. I think hockey is having their moment. So, now, on the question of the intersection between sports and fashion, who paved the way? Let's
Such
argue.
a good question. Okay, maybe not argue. We're just discussing or
Yeah,
conversing.
let's chat
Okay.
civilly.
Do you want to take this first? Because you started it.
not you ratting me out. Okay, in my mind, in my bubble, I genuinely feel like Zendaya and the Challenger really took the internet by storm with tennis core. And I feel like that's when I saw a lot of tennis crossover into fashion. Not saying that professional tennis players haven't already been in the fashion realm, but I think Zendaya made it probably slightly more accessible to the general public. That's
Yeah.
where my head was at.
I could be wrong, and I hope I'm not. But I think around the same time that tennis core was really at its peak, we also saw a lot of ballet core because of the Pilates popularity surge. And that's obviously another form of sport that was getting fashionized. I'm making up words on the podcast today. And at the same time, we start to see big sports events like the Olympics in Paris or Wimbledon or the US Open turn into an opportunity for designers to really dress up the celebrity guests and get more press or media about it. And then at the same time, I don't know if you've noticed, but I wish I knew what it was called, the walkout. Like before sports events, athletes will walk down a hallway and get photographed. Those are starting to be really popular too, and athletes have teams of stylists building them outfits in advance. Sometimes they work with brands in the same way that K-pop idols work with brands to go to the airport, to specifically curate outfits that will be stylish and get them more press. So it's like an amalgamation of a lot of things, and I'm happy to say that Zendaya was probably at the forefront. I'll agree to that. I think Zendaya is amazing. So I think a lot of forces combined with Zendaya leading the way.
Exactly. Yeah, on the topic of the Olympics, I do feel like jerseys that each country wear is becoming more and more relevant. I feel like I keep on seeing random TikTok carousels of people talking about which country has the best, which country really represented their heritage and really tapped into the cultural element. So that was really interesting. And I also saw that the NBA is partnering with Balenciaga for the fall winter 2026 collection, which I thought was a really classic or a really cool crossover. I do feel like it's up Balenciaga's sleeve to do something like that. Just really curious to see how that plays out, because it seems like we mentioned this before in the podcast. Luxury is really trying to balance accessibility but also exclusivity.
Which is an interesting dichotomy. And on the topic of singers and famous people who have fans, we're really bad at this. I hope it gets easier over time. I think fandom is going to be in this year. And I have no foundation for this other than a general vibe that I think maybe it has to do with the fact that 2026 is so 2016 coded or aspiring to be. I think we're going to see things that teenage girls like be cool again.
No, I feel like a lot of people that we followed back in 2016 is coming back this year with world tours. I think top of mind is BTS.
Yes.
Because K-pop is there's a long history there.
Yeah.
But they're coming out with their world tour. You can argue that it's a war. On next week, on the 22nd, the pre-sales, that's bloodbath. But they're coming out with 79 stops, and Twitter is just dying over this piece of news. Shoot, who else? Bruno Mars? Am I crazy? Bruno Mars
he's
is
on
coming
tour.
back.
Blackpink is releasing an album, and this is their 10-year anniversary. But that's too much on the K-pop side. Ariana Grande is going on tour this year.
Harry Styles is coming back.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're right. These are
5
all
Seconds
the
of Summer is on
2016
tour.
The 2016 heartthrobs are back.
Yeah. It's a moment.
On the topic of 2016, do we just want to skip to that real quick?
Yes. Let's talk about more things that I think are going to be dragged out of the depths of 2016 and be trendy again. I only have 2. I don't have a foundation for this, but I think people are going to start wearing chokers again, and I think we're going to see eyeliner come back. Doesn't have to be thick, really blocky eyeliner like 2016 was famous for, but last year there was a lot of clean girl makeup, and Hebe, you can take this if you want, but a lot of clean girl makeup, minimalist makeup, like no makeup. Take a shot every time I say makeup. Just kidding. Don't. That would be crazy. But I think people are going to start wearing eyeliner again and having fun with it. More colors, more shapes, things that are a little less conventional and mindful and demure, like we saw for a while. And honestly, I'm excited for it. I miss doing my eyeliner in funky ways.
Yeah, I feel like this is part of this general nostalgia for 2016. I think over the past couple years, we've been really fed up with the crap the world has been throwing our way, from COVID to geopolitics to, at least in the US, like families being broken up. So I think everyone is yearning, wink wink, for a time where Harambe was on the news. R.I.P. Harambe, you're such a legend, but I genuinely think it's the case. And you see a lot of brands tagging onto this 2016 trend, posting something like, oh, like this was us back in 2016. So I think we just want happiness again, for lack of a better words. Let's be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think chai, you wrote this down. Chai is part of the wave that 2016 is bringing to us.
Yeah, I wasn't in the US in 2016, so I can't speak for sure on whether that was the year that millennials got a hold of chai or if it was before, but I think millennial things are going to come back a little bit, and I feel like people are going to start drinking chai more. Maybe it'll be more trendy, like a kind of like what happened with matcha, but hopefully we're not seeing the Dubai chocolatification of chai, because I can't sit through that again. I don't want any more Dubai chocolate matcha labubus, you know?
Benson Boom Beam, crumble cookie.
Benson
Maybe-
Boone Moon Chai ice cream.
Exactly. Do you think we'll see more funky cafe drinks? I do. Again, I didn't have any economic power as a 14-year-old in 2016, but I do feel like really funky coffee drinks were a big thing back then. Whereas nowadays it's like latte, iced Americano. Just a thought.
Maybe some more
Creativity.
fruity or like colorful beverages. Although I do think as a society we've kind of moved away from like the hot pink drink. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think people are seeking neon colored liquids to consume anymore, but maybe some more fun flavors. Like, I had a really good blackberry matcha in New York. That kind of stuff I could see maybe
Ube
being
lattes.
more. Exactly. Oh my God, I'm so sorry to the Southeast Asian community when Americans get hold of pandan and ube. Like, I'm so sorry,
It's
guys.
over.
You guys are cooked.
Viet coffee. Guys, you're cooked. We're sorry. Next up is the Instagram face and bod.
Ugh.
We're going all GLP-1 and Ozempic core this year,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
I don't know if I need to make this a disclaimer, but I do think this is not what I want. Like, it's not in for me. Like, it's not in for us. It's what we think will be in societally. Instagram face and Instagram body. It's crazy and evil and out of our control. But I am sad to say that I think we're going to see a lot more toxic body conversations and changes before we bounce back to a, hey, what if we just embrace what people look like as they age?
Yeah, it's a century-old question. There's always some sort of beauty standards in every single era, and we're just in another one.
Unfortunately. Okay, there's a few more things. Do you have a particular order that you want to tackle this in? Because I feel like we have 4 more points for things.
And
we
we're
think
at
will be in.
35 minutes.
Yeah, we can speed run the last few. I'll take the
Okay.
first one. Jonathan Anderson's Dior. Can someone send me $10,000? I want a cardigan and a couple bags. That's it. I'm not asking for much. I'm obsessed with what Jonathan Anderson did with his collection. All the bows. It's so feminine, floral, whatever. I think it's in. It's in for me. That one personally is it's a personal investment. I am in love. Feel free to add on or move on if you want. I just had to say it.
I don't know anything about Jonathan Anderson, so I will be moving on to the next one so we can speed run this through, is yearning. I feel like the summer I Turned Pretty brought back this trope of a yearning man. I've personally never seen it, but I know it's a huge conversation. Heated rivalry, the yearning of Ilya and Shane for each other. I think they were the biggest topic of the end of 2025, and I believe Wuthering Heights, I haven't read the book yet, but also talks about yearning between two characters, and it's set to come out somewhere in 2026 with Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi. So I'm excited to see more yearning. And last is, unfortunately, the AI integration into life. If you can't tell, we are not the biggest fan of AI, but even if you don't want it, it's unavoidable. If you look on Google, anywhere, people just habitually go on ChatGPT to ask questions. But even if AI is in some ways, it's also out in some ways. And I think this is the part where we pivot to the 2026 outs.
Even if AI integration into life involuntarily is inevitable, people are probably not really drawn to AI being the lead creator in things. So art, music, text, where AI is noticeable and obvious, that's out. We don't like it. It's not. This is the human-made point from earlier.
A shot at Skechers. Can you please take away the ugly AI advertisement you have on the subway for the 7? It's like a AI woman wearing Skechers, and I'm like, that's not even human. How do I know your product is for a human when the model you use is AI? Like, the dots are not collecting.
AI influencers reviewing products. What do you mean? Oh, I'm reviewing my skin. You don't have skin.
You don't have skin?
You have zeros and ones. I'm sorry. Next point. Next point.
Okay, I guess I'll pick and choose, but I feel like mega trends like Labubu's Dubai chocolate, trinkets, and bags will be less likely in 2026 because we are all tired of these materialistic trends. I have 2 Labubus in the back. I will no longer be buying anything like that in this year. And connected is these performative identities that kind of come through with owning these products. So if you think about the performative male, I think Valentina's going to talk about the Pilates princesses. I just think people are, I guess, less likely to engage in these type of social media trends.
Yeah, I can take
year.
all 3 of those other points from that point alone. Performative identities. I think I wrote specifically Pilates princess. I think that's going to fall apart as people decide that they don't want to be simplified so much. And I think people are going to have more fun exploring what they like and how they want to express themselves. I don't think people are going to be trying so hard to fit into this one aesthetic that they assign themselves and suddenly live around. And then what Hebe was saying about the mega trends and how we're tired, I mentioned earlier, influencer fatigue. I genuinely believe that people doing massive hauls of all the new stuff that they're buying, or, oh, hey, here's my new huge house or my new car, or influencers like Becca Bloom, whose only content category is I have money. I think people are not going to like that as much. Obviously, they will always have an audience. There's way too many new, young social media users that are going to get hooked to that for it to ever really fall apart. But I think it's out. It's out for me personally. I think it's going to be out for most people. If you've been on the commentary side of YouTube the past few weeks, it's been a mess with how people are reacting to abhorrent displays of wealth over the holidays. So I'm looking forward to that being a little bit less relevant.
I think in general, we just want less formulaic content.
Yeah.
Like, have a personality, please. Have a life. Let me know that you're not AI and that you are real.
Exactly.
Kind of connected to the previous points about drinks. I feel like, at least in New York City, I don't know about the rest of the country, overpriced cafe drinks will have less of a space in the budget.
I hope so.
How do I know about this? I don't have proof, but if you think about it, the entrance of Luckin and Mixue, which are two mega Chinese coffee and boba chains. They're known for their price proposition. That is being very cheap. I think you can get like an ice cone for either $1.50 or like $2.50. And then if you go to Luckin, I personally have went and I got like a pretty sizable coconut latte for $2.13.
Oh my God. I still haven't gotten anything from there. I'm missing out.
You should
But
go.
I hope we see more of this as a trend. And to close out, we're going to do more general predictions. These aren't necessarily what we think will be in and out, but things that we expect to see throughout the year. First one that I think connects to our points from earlier is just less doom scrolling and people trying to have less of a huge online presence. Doesn't mean people will stop posting content. It'll just mean the things they choose to share are more curated and people will probably be more consciously trying to spend less time on their phones.
Yeah, and if they're on their phone, the type of content they want to see will probably be filtered through various ways. And mentioning this again, but I feel like we're going to see a genuine exploration of personal identity. Now, will people document it and share it on the internet? Probably.
Yeah.
But I do feel like as a whole, we are kind of done with this aesthetic guideline.
I hope so. Something else. We talked about BTS, but more generally, fandom and the idea that people are forming really tight-knit communities around a certain creator, artist, musician, actor that they really like. I think 2016 is going to be relevant all year. What filters were popular? What were people wearing? What were they doing? And Hebe, you want to take the last one?
Yes. Okay. I never owned a BlackBerry, but I associate them with the 2000s. I really wanted like a flip phone. And news is that they're entering the modern phone market. And I feel like people will actually buy it. Now, will they replace the iPhones and the Samsungs that we own? No. But I do think it's signaling, again, this yearning for 2016. And lastly, is what a shocker, cultural appropriation. We mentioned that a lot of flavors will probably be snatched up by, I guess, random American businesses here in the US, but chai, we mentioned, Viet coffee, Thai tea. The cycle is endless. And on TikTok, I think starting like this year, there's a lot of videos showing people like buying those Adidas jackets that borrow elements of Chinese culture. I think as of this moment, it's only sold in China, but I feel like a couple smaller brands are starting to pick up and mimic that type of aesthetic and design. And I feel like in the future, we're just going to see like mass production of it here in the Western markets with these designers not acknowledging the origin. And I think it's for a lot of cultures, not just limited to the Adidas jackets.
I think we saw it with South Asian fashion, and I'm so sorry if I'm misremembering, but I think the scarf style dresses got really popular, but no one bothered to address where they came from.
Yeah. And the reverse, especially in K-pop, I feel like the appropriation of Black culture, I feel like people are building more and more intolerance of it. I think Cordis had a huge year, but they got called out real bad. Oh, don't attack us. We're just stating what we see.
Go. Yes.
Yes. Okay. We've been talking a lot.
Way more than we expected.
Exactly. But this has been really fun. Do we want to talk about things we're personally looking forward to, or do you think this is a good way to end it?
I'm thinking this is a good place to end it. I'm looking forward to the next episode. I'm looking forward to a year of hopefully Let's circle back on video. I'm excited to see where this goes. I don't know if there's a special way to close it out since we're on video, but I'll hand it to you if you have any final points.
No, I don't. I was just going to go ahead and say our typical outro.
Sounds good to me.
It's been really fun. Please consider following us on Instagram and LinkedIn, and now here on YouTube. Please subscribe if you want to keep up with the latest. It has been a really fun and interesting video to film, but we have been your host. I'm Hebe.
I'm Valentina.
And we'll see you next time.